These are the Great Pyramids of Giza. They were built 4 millennia ago, and it's estimated that at any point during their construction, there are up to 40,000 people involved in building them. Now, most of these people were probably slaves, living in some terrible conditions in the middle of the desert. And today, it's hard for us to imagine the types of lives that these people would have had to have endured. This is my grandfather. Now, like many others who came here looking for work and looking to build a better life for him and his family, he had very little formal education. And because of this, the only work that he could find was as a manual labourer. Living in tents, working in road gangs of hundreds of people like these people here, they lived in some pretty hard conditions as well, out in the snow, out in the heat. Now, maybe these conditions weren't as hard as the people having to build the pyramids in the desert, but they were hard nonetheless. Compared to these men building the Great Ocean Road in the 1920s, construction and civil works has changed enormously. For those of you who've driven into Bendigo on the freeway recently, you'll have noticed that there's some large civil works happening to replace a really dangerous intersection and to improve traffic flow. It's a massive civil works project. It's taken over 24 months and it's still going to take many more months to complete. Compared to the time of the pyramids, where there were thousands of people, there's not even hundreds of people. If you look at this work site today, there's probably 10 or 20 pieces of heavy machinery. All of that dangerous, back-breaking, hard manual work has been replaced. It's been replaced by a couple of bulldozers and some excavators. We can draw a lot of parallels between what's happened in the construction and civil works industry over the last 4 millennia and what's happening today. But in today's society, we're living in a different era. We're living in an era of artificial intelligence. And instead of replacing that manual, repetitive physical work, artificial intelligence is replacing the mundane intellectual tasks that we have to undertake today. The challenge is, though, for us to understand how artificial intelligence will impact our day-to-day professions and what opportunities may come out of it. Now, if you think that artificial intelligence is something of the future, it's not. It's here today, and you've been using it probably on a daily basis. If you've used a spell check feature in your word processing software, or if you've gotten a GPS device and put in a destination and it's worked out the shortest route to where you're going, you've used AI. Every time you use a web browser and some little ads pop up on the side telling you what you think you want to buy, you've used artificial intelligence. And probably most impressive of all, if you've used Siri or Cortana or Google Assistant on your smartphone, you've probably used AI. But these are all examples of just the beginning of what AI can do. And in the very near future, it's very difficult to think of any profession at all that won't be highly impacted by artificial intelligence. There are some industries that are obvious targets for being highly impacted by artificial intelligence and automation. And their example of civil works and construction does not escape in the coming years. It's estimated that up to 86% of all these work roles will be replaced in construction over the next 15 years. If you're working as a receptionist, in food preparation, in hospitality even, up to 86% and 84% of these jobs also might be replaced by automation and artificial intelligence. Even in highly technical professional services that have traditionally required many, many years of tertiary education will also be radically changed by the ubiquity of artificial intelligence over the coming years. In my field of IT and technology, it's estimated that 45% of these roles that my staff are doing today will be replaced by artificial intelligence. Now, that's great for me as an employer, but maybe not as a good thing for my employees. But people who are working in the field of law, medicine, even teachers, up to 30% of these roles too will be impacted by artificial intelligence. And the research is quite clear. Over the next 15 years, up to 46% of all roles will be replaced by artificial intelligence in Australia. Instead of viewing this as a threat, however, we really need to be looking at this as an opportunity. And the opportunity will come to us in the form of time. It's estimated that over the coming years, that approximately 2 hours per week will be freed up for every Australian worker to perform other tasks rather than having to perform those routine intellectual tasks that you're having to do today. And if we use this time efficiently, this can equate to an addition of $2 trillion to Australia's GDP. The question is, though, that as our job roles change, how do we make the best use of the time that artificial intelligence can free up to us? And how do we use that time to focus on the human elements of all of our professions? Let's look at some professions today and see how artificial intelligence might free up time for us to perform other tasks. In the field of accounting, traditionally there's been lots of accountants sitting in front of computers, going through numbers just to prepare them for submission to the tax office. If all of this work could be automated by technology, it would allow accountants to focus on giving better business advice to their clients. In the field of law also, a lot of time is taken by lawyers having to research precedents, laws, legislation before they can give detailed legal advice to a client. Instead, today, artificial intelligence already exists that can be used by a non-legal person to pass a tertiary law exam. So this is the depth that artificial intelligence has already reached. In the field of law, if artificial intelligence can be used to cut that time short for the research, they can spend more time focusing on building a personal relationship with the client. In the field of medicine, if we take the example of your visit to a general practitioner, you might make an appointment for several weeks in advance. You go in, you wait, and then eventually the doctor sees you. They might ask you some questions, type away on the computer, and then send you away with a script. Imagine in an AI world where this whole time frame is compressed, and the moment you walk into the doctor's surgery, the doctor can use artificial intelligence and software to already have prepared several different treatment plans for you. The doctor can spend more time building a better patient-doctor relationship. The other day in Melbourne, I was walking back to my car, and from behind me I heard a crash. And I turned around and an L-plate driver had hit a bicyclist. The young man got up and walked away, he was fine. But imagine this scenario in a future AI world. The smart wearable device that had been worn by the bicyclist could have detected that he'd been hit with enough force to sustain some serious injuries, maybe even broken some bones. An ambulance could be automatically dispatched. At the same time, while the ambulance is negotiating efficient traffic because it's being directed through the traffic management system, all the while health statistics are being sent back to the ambulance driver, the clinicians and the hospital. At the hospital, electronic medical records are automatically pulled up and an orthopaedic surgeon is automatically dispatched. The end result is that the patient receives the best possible medical care in the shortest possible period of time. And at the same time, it minimises the burden to the health system. So all these scenarios that I've just discussed aren't the things aren't in the realm of fiction. They exist today, and it's all technology that's being used around the world. And artificial intelligence is at the heart of it. And they're all examples of how professions that were traditionally in the domain of professionals might one day be largely or totally undertaken by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, though, will free up the time for us to focus on the human connections of our professions rather than concentrating on the mechanics of the transaction. Rather than replacing humans altogether, it's going to be people who can leverage the power of the speed and leverage the speed at which AI can solve problems. And it'll allow us to focus on the more human elements of our jobs. For anyone who has children and have played this game, Pokemon Go, it allows you to use the camera, the video camera on your smartphone to mix it with the graphics of the game in what's called augmented reality. In a future AI world, it will increasingly be one in which information and services are delivered in a mode of what's being called augmented intelligence. Just like technology in the form of an excavator replaced the hard work that of my grandfather's time, it's going to be artificial intelligence which does the heavy lifting of the intellectual tasks of tomorrow. It's only people, however, who can deliver the information generated by artificial intelligence to other people in a way that generates a human connection. Who of us have gone out to look maybe at buying a new vacuum cleaner, or maybe a bit of a bigger purchase such as a new car? Sometimes you go to the appliance store or you go down to the car yard and the salesperson will come out and they'll start working their magic on you. And sometimes you'll walk away from the appliance store thinking, geez, that guy was a real jerk, and you haven't bought anything. Other times, you'll drive out of the car yard in a brand new SUV when you were just going to look at a compact little hatch. Now, if we think about why this happens, it's because we're dealing with people. And sometimes you connect with people, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have that gut feeling that you can do business with someone and engage with them. And it's this gut feeling that's a human attribute. And it's the other human attributes of intuition, creativity, empathy, and emotional intelligence that really can't be replaced by artificial intelligence. This is reflected in the fact that of people who are engaged in professional sales, it's expected that only 9% of those people will have their jobs replaced by artificial intelligence. And why is this? It's because those types of roles in sales that require a deep personal relationship isn't something that can be easily replaced by a machine. We're only at the beginning of what artificial intelligence might deliver us to us in the future. If we imagine a world in 10, 20, 30 years' time, we might finish our workday, hop into our self-driven cars, and spend that time to focus on building better relationships with our clients or with our family. We can do that without having to concentrate on traffic. On the way home, the fridge knows that we've only got certain ingredients. It knows what we ate yesterday, and it knows what we like to eat, and it's dispatched the drone with the ingredients for tonight's dinner. When we get home, we can spend more time engaging with our family and helping our kids with their homework. Smart devices, smart wearable devices will get even smarter, and they'll be able to monitor our health statistics constantly and advise a doctor or a clinician if we're at risk of undergoing a potentially serious medical event such as a heart attack or a stroke. But the fact is that we don't even know where artificial intelligence is going to take us. But imagine a world where we have more time, and more time is no longer an excuse. The benefits of an AI world is the ability to focus and connect at a human level. Because it doesn't matter who we are, where we work, what industry we're in, what products or services that we deliver, they ultimately all relate back to people. We need to embrace the future of an AI world. Ultimately, it's the opportunity of having more time that AI will deliver that will allow us to engage and focus more deeply on people. Because it's not AI or any other technology that will ever replace the impact of human connectedness.